My last patient was a 10-year-old girl. Her confession ended my 30-year career. My medical license lives under a stack of old mail on the kitchen counter. I haven't touched it in 6 years. I was a child psychiatrist for 3 decades. I thought I'd seen the full spectrum of human darkness. Then a 10-year-old girl named Zosia showed me I hadn't even opened the book. She was brought to my practice from a farm somewhere out in the sticks, a place where people still used wells and worried about coyotes. The state file said she'd killed her father. A single, precise stab wound with a boning knife. When the deputies arrived, they found her on the porch swing, humming a nursery rhyme, her little white socks stained red. She didn't cry, she didn't speak. When they asked her why, the report said she just smiled. In my office, she was a statue carved from porcelain and shadow. Hair like a black oil slick, and eyes the color of a frozen lake. They were the most unnerving thing about her. They never looked at me, not once. She'd fix her gaze on a point about 3 feet to my left, just over my shoulder, and she would not move it for the entire 50-minute session. She wouldn't even blink. Imagine that. An hour in a soundproofed room with a silent child whose attention is locked on something you can't see. The silence wasn't empty. It was heavy. It pressed on my eardrums. The clock on the wall sounded like a hammer striking an anvil. Tick. Tock. I'd ask her questions, simple ones. About her favorite color, about the weather. I'd try word association games. I'd set out dolls, nothing. She'd just sit there, a faint, unreadable smile playing on her lips, staring at the empty air beside my head. Some days I'd get this crawling sensation up my spine, the paranoid urge to whip my head around to see what the hell she was looking at. I never did. I was Dr. Alistair Finch. I was the professional, the adult in the room. But sometimes, when the light hit the window just right and the dust motes danced in the sunbeam between us, I felt like a bug under glass. This went on for a year, a solid year. The state was running out of money, and I was running out of ideas. I was failing. My colleagues suggested more aggressive therapies. I refused. I felt this protective instinct, this stupid, misguided belief that there was a scared little girl trapped in there somewhere. That the monster was a shell she'd built around herself. God, I was an idiot. The last day, I walked in and knew it was over. I told her this would be our final session, that they were transferring her to a long-term facility upstate. I said I was sorry I couldn't help her. I expected the usual nothing, the smile, the stare. But for the first time, her eyes moved. They slid from that spot in the air and locked directly onto mine. The coldness in them was a physical shock. It was like falling through ice. The little smile on her face didn't change, but it felt different now. Victorious. She stood up. Her feet made no sound on the thick carpet. She crossed the room, the space between us vanishing with a terrifying quickness, and leaned in close to my ear. Her breath was warm and smelled faintly of milk. Her whisper was so quiet I almost missed it. "You want to know my secret, doctor? I couldn't move. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. When I was 8, she whispered, her voice a dry rustle of leaves. I found one of the barn kittens. Its leg was caught in a trap my father set for the rats. It was crying, making so much noise. I could feel the fine hairs on my neck standing straight up. I held it," she said. "It was so warm. Its heart was beating so fast. A little bird trapped in a box. I wanted to help it. So I squeezed. Not hard at first. Just enough." The crying stopped. The shaking stopped. And it got warmer. All its warmth went into my hands. It was the quietest I'd ever felt inside. She pulled back and looked me in the eye. That faint smile finally bloomed into a full, genuine grin. It was the most hideous thing I have ever seen. "My father had warm hands too," she said. "He was making so much noise after dinner, yelling about the bills. I just wanted it to be quiet again." She turned, walked back to her chair, and sat down, folding her hands neatly in her lap. She looked like a perfect little doll. A perfect, quiet little doll. I don't remember dismissing her. I don't remember the orderlies coming to take her away. My next clear memory is of being on my hands and knees in my own bathroom, retching until my throat was raw. I wasn't treating a traumatized child. I was a zookeeper who'd spent a year trying to teach a tiger to be a house cat. I drove home that night and never went back. They can keep my license. They can keep the silence and the ticking clocks. Because sometimes, when my house is too quiet, I can still feel it. That cold spot in the air, just over my shoulder. And I can still hear that whisper, telling me the secret to making all the noise go away.